very warm welcome to Eye on the Money, the television show that gives you insights into how to improve your financial well-being as well as make your money work for you. I'm Ingrid Nantege. Happy New Year! And as usual, your favorite personal finance show has so much lined up for you this year. We have a lot more exciting guests and topics to boost your personal finance and money habits. In fact, we're kicking off the show and this year with a very exciting show targeting youth, particularly students. Now, over 1,500 high school students across East and Southern African region are set to benefit from financial literacy training in a bid to cultivate a healthy savings culture. This will be achieved through Octagon Africa's first virtual financial literacy training themed Starting Now for a Better Future. Now, this initiative aims to educate the students on understanding money, budgeting, and saving. An analysis by EFG Hermes reveals that Africa's saving rate stands at an average of 17%, with Kenya's saving rate at 12%, and that's half of the average for low-income countries. This is why Octagon Africa is, through its financial literacy training, aiming to contribute to the increment of the savings rate across the region. Joining me on the show to discuss all this and so much more is General Manager, Octagon Trust Services, Anthony Odhiambo. You're welcome to the show, Anthony.
Thank you for having me.
Octagon, you've really started it off on such a high gear. And I'm really passionate about youth and money because I really wish I had picked up these lessons, at a much earlier age. I feel like my money habits will be better.
The only better way to make a society better is to ensure that the youth are prepared for tomorrow.
Brilliant.
And what a better way, basically, to bring in the issues of finances, which are rarely talked about. And that's why we are here as Octagon Africa, to make it happen.
I can't wait to hear all about it. But before we even go into the program, for you to tell us, first of all, who's going to benefit, what sort of initiatives you have in place, I would like you to help us understand, help us set the scene. I mean, you had the figures.
Yes.
When it comes to the savings culture, be it on the continent, even specifically speaking about Kenya, it's a lot wanting, and you've agreed yourself.
Correct.
Why do you think the situation is as it is?
The situation has, in my own opinion, the situation has been aggravated by, let me pick our forefathers. Money issues are very delicate concepts, delicate matters that we never discuss. If our parents did not take time to discuss with us money matters, how will you know it? You only come to know about money when you start working. Their fathers did not do that. So it goes back to generations. So unless somebody takes initiative, and that's why Octagon Africa had looked at these statistics and where did we go wrong and how do we start making things right. So it is generations after generations where money issues are never discussed. It is a taboo. You are told money is bad. No, you wonder how. When money is bad and you as a parent, you're using it. So we better be very candid, we better be very clear as parents. And if you have siblings who are actually, and now you have siblings who are younger than you, so these are conversations that we now must bring to the table. Yes.
And Anthony, staying with what you've said, I would have to 100% agree. It's sort of the perception that, comes with us from when we're being nurtured, from when we're young. Because if I'm to be honest, even myself, how I felt about money, and now that I know better from speaking to professionals, it's so much different. So with that being said, why is it important to have this conversation and also involve the youth the way Octagon Africa is approaching it at the moment?
Now, remember, as the importance of having this conversation, one critical is that we need a better generation and a better future. All said and done, they say that there are only three constants in life. One is tax, the other one is death, and the other one is retirement. Whether you are in informal employment or formal employment, in between, you must make hard decisions on how you will be better in the future before you die. And all this revolves around money. So, truth be told, money must be the center of our conversation, dining tables, living rooms, in the offices, so that we and the generation to come know exactly what it meant. So if these conversations are done in a better way and in a way that makes them, it builds confidence. So we debunk the issue that money is bad, money is evil, because you are told that money is not evil. It is the love of it and how you use
Right.
it that makes it evil. But money makes the world go round. So definitely it must be at the center of our conversation. Yeah.
So now before we even get into the nitty-gritties of the Starting Now for a Better Future program by Oxagon Africa,
Correct.
let me ask, because you've said it yourself, money is a delicate topic. It's usually how you have the conversation. Imagine it's delicate for adults. Imagine how much more delicate it could be for the youth.
Correct.
So when you're talking to the youth, or I'll even say the younger generation, children, about money, what sort of approach? Should it be practical? Should it, like, what would you advise when you're having such conversations, such vital, important conversations with your children, you know, with students? What sort of approach should be taken to make sure it's efficient?
Now, thank you for that. You know, financial planning or financial wellness, what I always call financial wellness. You know, the principles do not change. And over time, I've come up with something called the 3-seed. The 3-seed is, you look at the 3S, where they're saying the first S, you must know the source of income. Correct? As a student, as a person who start work, you must know the source of your income. And to that extent, even for now, the young generation, they are going to school. It is us parents who must tell them, where am I getting the money? Correct? So the first S is the source of income, where us as parents and as the children, they need to know where the money comes from. Number 2, the other S is spending plan. Because once you know your sources of income, definitely you must know how to spend it. Because you don't just spend for the sake of spending. You spend because you have needs and wants, and after all that, remember you are looking into the future.
Right.
How does that future turns out to be if you are not able even to save a little bit of it? So you first know the source, then you go to the spending plan. Then the other S is now saving itself. And on savings, it is not just saving for the sake of saving. You must have your rule of thumb, know that, what am I saving for? And now you bring in the I, which is now investments. Right. So once you save, then you know I'm saving for a particular stuff. So how does it grow? Because if you just save and say I'm saving in a bank, my friend, you are actually deluded, because bank, okay, sorry to say this, but banks, when you have it in your account,
right,
it doesn't grow.
Yes.
Unless you actually ask the bank to put it in a fixed deposit or whichever. So you look at now the investment. Then the D stands for debts. So after you've done all that, we must be in control of our debts. And if you look at the statistics, it's actually even based on KNBS, the poverty index recently. You've seen that over 50% of Kenyans have actually gone to the poverty, below the poverty level. What does that mean? It means that the rate of debts will actually go up. And if the rate of debts are going up for the adults, right, what do you think of the students? And if you look at the statistics in this country, actually students are even more worse. And you start asking them, how did you get there?
Yeah.
They don't know. Why? I actually realized that, I do much of talking and also a bit of talks with students, either in college, mostly in college. And the reason why they go into debt, one thing that I came to realize is that they don't have a spending plan.
Right.
So they just know that my mom, my dad, or my sibling will actually give me the money. So they have, like, on a weekly basis, they're given 2,000. So that 2,000, that's what the student has actually informed the parent that this is what I need on a weekly basis. So if you multiply that by 4 weeks, that is 8,000. So they know the source, however, they don't have a spending plan. And because in their mind they know that this money will come, so they care not.
Yeah.
So they don't put it into good use. And one interesting thing that I came to find out is that one of the students told me in that because the money is replenished at around Friday.
Right.
So by Thursday, she's actually run out of money. What? Reason? Up to Thursday, when she feels she has money, now she starts spending on unnecessary things.
Because it's going to be replenished.
Exactly. Now, those are the kind of habits, if we don't nip them now, then it becomes our behavior in the future and into the adulthood. No wonder, once you step into employment, you've carried this from your college,
yes,
your secondary years. So it becomes a norm, not an exception. So when you speak to somebody about, do you have a spending plan? I never used to have it. So what are you telling me about? Then the moment you start working, it is your money. I have no right whatsoever to tell you or to advise you on how to use it. So those are the challenges that are there, and that's basically why Octagon Africa is coming in to ensure that we first of all look at our database, because we handle pension services. We handle now the parents of these children when they are retiring. And because their money behaviors and money habits were not that good, you find it becomes a challenge when they get their pensions. So the perception is that I have this amount.
Right.
And especially so if they don't take action to ensure that at least they replace their monthly salary with a pension, then somebody takes a lump sum, and automatically within 2 years, that person is gone. So those are the kind of things that we'll not want to carry to the next generation.
Right.
Correct.
And Anthony, it's actually so disappointing and worrying to me that the reality right now is that students are actually already in debt. It's already exhibited, because I personally thought this is a future crisis we're fighting.
Yes.
So to think that on the ground it's already happening, it's really quite worrying. But now to get into, like you've said, the initiative by Octagon Africa, which is themed starting now for a better future program.
Correct.
I'd like you to talk to us about that, because you've clearly pointed out the challenges. So then what do you have in place? What's the value proposition? How are students going to benefit from your program?
Thank you so much for that question. Now, when we were doing our analysis, and I think I've just mentioned that we already in our database, we have members that we serve. And they are at different stages of their lives, and especially of checking out of employment. And as I mentioned, is that for us to nip the habit on the bud now is to ensure that we talk to their children. So when we looked at all this and looked at our membership that we have, then we said, how better can we ensure that, number one, now that we have this database and members who are in place, how do we get to their children? So that we start teaching them money issues as young as they are. And now the call to action is that start saving early.
Right.
Now when we say call to action, start saving early, it means that, number one, we encourage, even because we will find that we'll have people who are even below age 15. And somebody is asking, how do I start saving? Now at that age, if you look at my 3 seed, is that what's the source of your money for a 13-year-old child? Either there's pocket money that is given to them by the parents. So at the end of the week, they need to be asking themselves, the pocket money that I was given, how much did I remain with at the end of 5 days? Then you either, one, ask your parents to buy you a piggy bank, correct? Or they open an account for you in the various banks accounts that we have for the children, so that you start that early. So if you build it up as a habit, this means that this is one person, once he's done with primary, high school, and college, already that is ingrained in him or her. So already it is part and parcel, and it is their lifestyle. And with that, we are able actually to they are able to increase their retirement, their savings level when they reach the right age of working.
Perfect. So we're going to actually carry on with this conversation, but at this point, I'm going to take a very short break. I mean, we're clearly giving out nuggets here today, so you don't want to go away. And remember, you can also be a part of our conversation by sending your feedback to our social media handles at Metropole TV KE on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll be right back.